Didn't wanna hold you, but I lied. When you took your hand away, I cried. I don't wanna let you waste my time.
And welcome into What the Music. I am very excited, as always, bringing you the latest and greatest in music. And today I am bringing Paging Dr. Moon. And with me is Kirsten Heibert. Thank you so much for being on the show. I truly do appreciate what you are doing for music. It's very fun. I got to listen to your debut album. And go get it everywhere. And for more information, log on to pagingdrmoon.com. And, of course, I'm going to have all the links on the show notes for you to go check that out. But the debut album is Lost My Body, and I lost my head listening to it. I want to say it was very fun. And I guess the one of the biggest things that I truly enjoyed about this album was your candidness in writing. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Thank you. I really appreciate that, and thank you for having me. So I write basically just based on personal experience, and I write through journaling first, and then as soon as my head is cleared because I journaled, then usually lyrics can come out of that. So it's all just kind of helping me to understand what I'm going through. So there's, of course, some fiction in the writing, some metaphors in the writing, but overall, it's generally true.
You know what's crazy is, we just heard the song "Haunted," which is the first song that I heard, about Paging Dr. Moon. Because of course it's not just you, it's a bunch of other people. You're the singer, songwriter, and band leader in this particular project. But I heard the song "Haunted," and two things came into mind. One is I wrote a joke specifically about not this song, but about being haunted, and I wrote it a long time ago. And the joke is that I've been ghosted so much that I'm haunted.
That's funny.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny because it's true. You know what I mean? There's a lot of us that get ghosted, and I know everyone's like, oh my God, yes, even me. You know what I mean? And I still don't get that concept of why this happens. But that brought a lot of emotions back to me hearing that song, and I did get to see the music video, which I am going to post on the show notes as well, because you have to see this video. I mean, you saw it, you know what I mean? But everyone else has to see this video. I loved the choreography on this, and I'm sure you get that a lot. Can you tell me a little bit about the song and then leading up to the music video, the choreography?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for saying that. I haven't really gotten a chance to spread the music video around very much, so I haven't heard much feedback on it. So I really appreciate that. "Haunted" as a song was actually the newest one that came off the album, and me and our drummer Morgan actually wrote it together while we were recording the album, because we recorded the whole album in our producer's house. So we wrote it while we were there, and creating that song was just so organic and quick, because it was just very much what I was going through, because not specifically getting ghosted in my case, which I have been, and it's awful, but it's like when somebody emotionally isn't there but you want them to be. So it was just very, it was happening at the time, and I was having all these realizations and learning about it, and I was in a cabin with my best friend, so they all just kind of spurted out. So that song, creating that was just very cathartic, very, very natural, and it's actually the only song on the album that I didn't write the guitar part for. Morgan wrote that guitar part. So that was really fun to get to work with her on. And the choreography in the music video came about because I had to relocate from Brooklyn to Pittsburgh, and now I'm in my hometown, and I reconnected with some friends from college, and I went to college at Point Park University, which is one of the absolute greatest dance programs in the country. It's an amazing dance program, and I reconnected with people from that part of my life, and we just had this idea to make a music video about really a distant relationship and something that was toxic and something that wasn't clicking and was disjointed, but also beautiful at the same time. So Alisa Aleo is our choreographer, and she owns Firewall Dance Theater here in Pittsburgh. And our videographer is named Nathan O'Shea, and he owns, I believe it's called 482 Productions. And everyone went to the same college, but reconnected years later.
It was absolutely so much fun watching that video, and not only that, but the choreography on this isn't just about the sequence of the dance, because in this I really felt that the choreography matched the symbolism of what the person was going through without that other person. And for those two to come together, I mean, I'm still talking about it. We're like 10 minutes in, and I'm, I won't shut up about it. But I just had to bring that to light. I did notice too, and I'm glad you brought it up. But you were living in New York, but now you're back in Pittsburgh. I did check out your Instagram, and again, go check out her Instagram. I will have all the links, and you can always log on to pagingdrmoon.com to get links to her Instagram, her Spotify, Bandcamp, Facebook, so forth and so forth. But I did check out your Instagram, and I noticed I guess it was like your last week there, and you were walking around, and I saw you with your friends, and I saw that you were next to big piles of garbage, of trash. And I'm like, is that why you left? Was there just massive amounts of trash on the street, and that's why you?
No. Oh, that is so funny. That is so funny. That is just an inside joke. There was lots of. Yes, there is a lot of big piles of trash in New York City. There's garbage days every day, but. I didn't leave for that reason. I left a little bit ago, and I have been trying to go back and forth as much as, possible due to the circumstances. I'm not trying to travel too much unnecessarily, but it was a difficult decision to leave. But when everything shut down, it was kind of the choice for me between making the album and living in New York, because it's everything that I do is independently funded, and I am just kind of trying to make it all happen with whatever resources that I can. And it was just easier to move to Pittsburgh and kind of center myself here for a little bit. And the bandmates are kind of scattered anyway. Everyone is kind of doing our own thing. But we're hoping that once we can get back together, we'll be able to play shows in different locations now, because we are really good together, and we really know each other really well at this point. We're really ready to just kind of get to show other people, because we haven't had the opportunity to play most of these songs live. They all kind of happened throughout everything that's been going on.
Yeah, and as things open up, I'm sure you're going to get that chance very soon. Now, I'm glad that you brought this up about doing a live show. And I saw this happen, and I don't want this to happen to you. Okay? I went to an 80s bar club thing, with things here just barely started opening. And one of my buddies was like, hey, let's go to a club, and an 80s club, and check it out. And I'm like, you know what? I got my vaccine. Let's go. What can happen? I go there, and I'm listening to the music and stuff like that, and then a band comes on, and they're asking for requests and stuff, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we don't know how to play that song," or there was a bunch of we didn't play that song, or we only rehearsed these songs. And in my brain, I'm like, you had a year, you had 13 months to come up with new material, new songs. And of course everybody was in a different situation. I don't know if, I'm not saying, but, I guess what I'm getting to the point is that you had a lot of opportunity for you guys to come together and play as a band. Did you guys brush up on anything? Did you add any new music to your arsenal, or during this time?
Well, actually, as a band, we've been pretty separated. So we've been in different cities for part of it. Like I've been when we were in Brooklyn. So this was the first half of the pandemic. This would be from April to about September. During that time, that's when we were recording the album, and that's when all this new music came about. So I would say about 3 or 4 songs on the album we had played at our shows before, but the majority of it actually was all new material, which was really cool to get to do. And since then, we kind of scattered. Now, Morgan is from Nebraska. Michael is still in New York. I'm in Pittsburgh. Julian's in upstate New York. We're kind of all over the place, everybody that's involved. So these last few months, now the second half of the pandemic, from about September until now, I'm doing, the way that I songwrite is by incubation, really. I have to do it all by myself, and I have to figure out, you know, how the story goes, what songs I want to bring to them, which songs I think are going to be the best, and then I show them a list, I let them choose. But right now I have about 13 new ones. So the new step now is going to be bringing it back to them and us getting back together. So I've been adding to the arsenal, but they don't really know about it yet. It's still just mine. So they'll get it soon, but I'm still in my, I'm like, you know, the egg is going to hatch, but it's not quite ripe yet.
Yeah, it's still in the incubation period.
Exactly. Yeah.
Totally get it. Totally understand. You know, I'm just spreading that advice to you know, bands. Don't use COVID as well. We didn't, you know, we didn't have time to, you know, rehearse or whatever. I'm like, come on, guys.
Totally. Without COVID, we wouldn't have recorded the album. There's pretty much, I mean, it wouldn't have been the same, at least, because before this all happened, we were, you know, just playing live shows. We really didn't have any plans to record at all yet, and just kind of happened. So I was grateful for the space to be able to really create those songs and really be able to sit with those people and make it happen. At the beginning of COVID, I was walking like 2 miles to go to their apartments.
Wow, that's a great way to keep your shape up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was not. I was eating and just watching TV for about a month, and then I got bored of that. You know what I mean? And then I just started building my little recording studio that you see before me. Speaking of COVID, I did see that you did get COVID. How are you recovering? Can you give us a little insight of how you felt when you got it and so forth?
Definitely. I would say I am 99% back to normal. The only thing is I have lost a little bit of my sense of smell. Before it was really gone. I couldn't smell or taste anything, and it was the worst because I am such a foodie. I am obsessed with food. I know everybody is. We have to eat it to live, but I was just so, it was freaky. It was really freaky, and it was definitely not easy, but I didn't get the worst of it. I was at home, and I was, you know, able to be, able to rest and able to take time off of work and really able to just kind of, you know, get myself better. But it took a little bit of time. It wasn't easy, and it was scary. It was definitely scary because it just feels so, the whole thing feels like a sci-fi movie to me still. Like, I know it's very real life, but the whole thing just kind of feels, I feel like it's going to take a little time for me to process all of it. So getting it was kind of like, whoa, this is, like, pretty wild.
Yeah, and I mean, you look very young, so, I was like a little like trying to understand how it truly, it affects everybody completely different. So, wanted to get that perspective. So, thank you so much for that. Now, real quick, if we just change gears to your album that is out now, Lost My Body. And again, for more information, pagingdrmoon.com. And of course, I'll have all the links to everything. So make sure to go check it out. I noticed that this album is climbing up the charts over, college radio. Tell me about that experience and seeing that. Are you really feeling fulfilled seeing this happen?
It's very cool. I've released a few other projects under different band names because I have been refining my sound as an artist. So Paging Dr. Moon was really my commitment to I'm not changing the band name again. I'm not changing the project name again. This is what I'm working on. This is what I'm doing. It took me a long time of refining myself to really figure out what I wanted to put out, because as an artist, I think being discerning is really important. And now that I know at least or have a better idea of what feels right, I was ready to really try. So really putting it in front of those stations, really getting it in front of more people, even just like you. I had never reached out to any sort of press or radio or anything at all before, and I've gotten a really great response from it, and it's been really, really rewarding and really validating, because it's just you never know if people are going to like it or even get it. And hearing that all these different people are responding to it, it really means a lot to me, because it's really everything I care about. It's the only thing I think about really is music. So it feels really great. And I'm trying to connect with stations, and I'm trying to connect with people in different places, because I know that it might not be, this year, and I know that it might not be in the near future, but I really would like to be on the road with this stuff someday. Even if by the time that's allowed, it's my second or third album, and then that's when I get to tour, that's fine, but that is really what I would like to do. So if that becomes an option at some point, I want to make sure that I at least have tried to show it to people in very specific areas and tried to, make those connections, because I really do want to make that happen for myself.
That's awesome. And I'm sure it will happen. With everything, time and patience is always the key to those things. And I always say, yes, time plus patience will equal success, but the caveat to that is the X factor, which is passion. You have to have a passion. If you don't have that one passion, then those other things are not going to really factor in to your success. So I see that you have a passion, and I'm very delighted by that. And you too will be delighted by the album Lost My Body, which is out now. For more information, make sure to check out the website, pagingdrmoon.com. My guest has been Kirsten Heibert. And, thank you so much again for coming on the show and letting me play some of your music, for everyone to hear. And I wish you success. Okay?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Cool. And we are going to leave you now with Dumpster Fire.
The storm is coming, there will be hell to pay. I wanna feel some shame, I just wanna cry today.